Mary Catherine Ham, Brian Wilson, Brian Neiman, today's newsmakers, and you, the Morning Majority. 105.9 FM, AM 630. WMAL.
8:37 on the Morning Majority. Listen, they had a big debate in New Hampshire. GOP presidential hopefuls all on the same stage. Who's up, who's down, who just sort of cruised through the whole thing unscathed? Well, Byron York was there, and he's, of course, the chief political correspondent for the Washington Examiner. He joins us now on the line. Are you still in New Hampshire?
I still am, day after.
All right, so what was your take on who was the winner, who was the loser, who just cruised on through?
Well, I think there was almost general consensus that Mitt Romney had another strong night. Very prepared for these things, a lot of information at his fingertips, just a very good debater these days. Herman Cain was, for the first time, not only the center of attention, but the target of attacks. Most of the time took him in good nature, or seemed to be a little irritated when John Huntsman said he originally thought $9.99 was the price of a pizza. Rick Perry almost didn't show up. There were times when he seemed to check out of the debate, did not have a good debate.
All right, I read your column on this morning, and I want you to sort of go through what was being said in Spin Alley after the debate.
Well, it's interesting. After each debate at the site, a lot of the top aides, and sometimes the candidates themselves, come out and talk to reporters. David Carney, who is Rick Perry's chief strategist, was really very irritated with a lot of the press speculation going into the debate, saying, well, Perry's had a couple of bad debates. This is make or break, do or die for him. He says that's just not the case. And he defended Rick Perry's not having an economic plan, which is something that Romney aides were really hitting him for. Said, we're actually going to produce one in a shorter period of time than Romney himself did. Problem is, Rick Perry didn't get into the race until August, so he still doesn't have a plan.
Here's my deal with Perry. He just seems disinterested. I mean, he didn't seem like he even wanted to be there last night at times.
Well, he did. As I said, there seemed to be times when he just left. I'm leaving for a while. Maybe I'll come back. He went to. It was interesting. He was the only one who had an actual post-debate event last night. He went to the Beta Theta Pi house on the campus of Dartmouth, and he actually said there. He said, I try to get up each day, do my job, but quote, debates are not my strong suit. And I think he proved it last night.
I'm wondering about none of these guys, except for, I think Michelle Bachmann's the best at it, seem able to land an accurate punch on their opponents at the right place at the right time. For instance, on the healthcare stuff, nobody brings up the fact that Romney's advisors were meeting with Obama on Obamacare during that process. No one brings up any of the issues with the Massachusetts health care plan, the fact that it has raised premiums for people. What is the deal with that?
It is so interesting. I mean, this is Mitt Romney's sixth debate. He wasn't in the very first one back in South Carolina. Sixth debate, and this is his biggest vulnerability, and he has not really taken any sort of knockdown blow on it. And you're absolutely right. Last night, when Rick Perry had a chance to question Mitt Romney about it, he didn't really go for the jugular. He didn't talk about, you put this place in plan, and maybe you wanted to control costs, but you put a government bureaucracy like that. You've been succeeded by a liberal Democrat. It's breaking the bank. I mean, there were so many ways he could have gone at this, right. And Romney kind of amazingly has skated on this issue.
It almost as if they're pulling their punch on that. Why?
Don't know. If there's any time to come out swinging, this would be it. Interesting, you saw Romney last night not really swinging at Rick Perry. When it was his turn to ask a question, Romney threw a softball to Michelle Bachmann. Didn't even feel like he had to attack Rick Perry.
All right, I looked at it last night, Byron. I said, all right, I'm going to try to block out all the noise about who's supposed to perform well tonight or who needs to perform well tonight, and forget the polls, and just who looks the most presidential or who looks like they have the most command. And there are two guys. One was Romney, the other Newt Gingrich. I mean, at times he controlled that table last night, but he still doesn't, pull in all of that, the support that he needs in order to, at least from the polls wise, he doesn't get the support that I think he probably deserves at this point.
Well, you're certainly right about his ability here, and I've actually written about this before. At any given moment, and it usually happens at least once in a debate, Newt Gingrich, more so than any other candidate, is capable of just reaching out and grabbing the topic of the debate and turning it in the direction he wants to go. He has a deeper understanding of how government works than probably anybody. There is this odd thing about him. You get the impression that whatever he was thinking about that afternoon becomes his big debate point. So last night, I'm thinking about Ben Bernanke.
Yeah,
Let's talk about Ben Bernanke.
Right.
But he's still, I mean, nobody on his feet or sitting down as he was last night is faster than he is.
All right, on that point, I know it plays very well to the base, but I have to say, even I was like, really? When they asked, everybody at the table, what about the situation that we're in right now? What about Wall Street? And they all said the blame all goes on the government, and pretty much let the Wall Street to get washed away without any kind of blame on where we are today. I found that to be a little strange, and I'm almost surprised that they didn't even take just a little bit of a shot at Wall Street.
I don't think that's going to score well with people, but I think, ultimately the general election Republican candidate is going to have a more balanced view. I will go back to it wasn't a debate, it was the forum that Jim DeMint, the South Carolina Republican senator, held back in Columbia, South Carolina, last month. And Romney was there. He had a chance to speak at a little better length. Gave the best defense of Republican regulation of Wall Street that we've ever seen, and he wanted some regulation. He felt that the current Dodd-Frank went way too far. But he gave a very, very cogent analysis of it. You're right. It's surprising we haven't seen it in the debate.
All right, Byron, great to have you on. As always, appreciate your insights very much.
Hey, guys, great to be here.